everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr, and tonight we're going to start part 2 of the first brewery feature that I'm doing this week. So again, if you saw the show on Monday, you know that we are covering a brewery called Dolle, and they are out of Belgium, the Flanders region of Belgium. And the other night we had their Dolle Oerbier, which is their triple. Really good beer. I liked it a lot. But I figured I'd step it up a notch and go with this next beer, which is called their Oerbier. And this is a Belgian strong ale. So I'm imagining it to, be a little bit darker, a little bit heavier than the beer that we shared together on Monday. But anyway, this is one of the beers that I've not had from them. So really looking forward to trying this beer. You'll notice the name Oerbier and probably wondering what that means. The translation in English literally just means original beer. So we talked yesterday, Monday, about the origin of this brewery and how they started in 1980, which is a fairly young brewery for the country of Belgium. Oerbier, meaning original beer, this is actually the very first beer that they brewed. So when they used to brew in their home, and again I go back to the brothers that we talked about on Monday, when they brewed this beer, this was the very first beer that they brewed. So I would say this is probably their flagship beer. But anyway, one that I've been anxious to try. I've only had, you only see maybe about 4 or 5 of these beers at any given time in the liquor stores here. But this is one I've yet to try. There's actually, I think, 2 probably that I've not had, and this is one. So let's go ahead and get started. And I can tell that there's just going to be a ton of head on this because there's already head in the actual bottle. So again, I'm going to pour this one very slowly, just because I don't want to get, so much head that I can't drink it. So I'll go ahead and stop right there for right now and set that up there so that you guys can see it. So anyway, let's get to the appearance first. So this is a pretty hazy beer. I'm not able to see through it by any stretch of the imagination. And I talk about prunes and dates as a color a lot in beers that I review, and this definitely matches that color. Not the most pleasing looking beer, but hey, you know what? I've learned from McKellar that the beer doesn't always have to look the most beautiful for it to taste insanely good. So lots of head on this one. Again, I poured it very slowly. I can agitate it just a little bit and already get 2-3 fingers of head. In fact, if I keep pouring this in there, I'm sure it would just go right up to the top. But then I get my nose in it, you guys laugh and stop, and it'll just be a mess. So, well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my nose in here. And, before I do, though, I want to point out that as I kind of swirl this beer around the glass, you can see that it just grips to the side of that glass. That tells me that this beer, much like the Dolle Oerbier, is going to have a really good amount of lacing. Now, it's mostly the head that's sticking to it and not the beer, so that tells me that there's not a whole lot of viscosity or a whole lot of sweetness in the beer. But really, it kind of reminds me of Orval, not the color, but just kind of the bubbles on the head and the way it just kind of grips it. So maybe this thing's a little bit dry too. I don't know. Well, let's see. And I just realized that I forgot to smell it, but hey, you know what? That's fine too. I can smell it and taste it at the same time. And that's part of the process. I've said that before. When you drink beers like this, you should smell it, drink it, let it sit on your tongue for a few minutes, smell it, drink it, repeat the process, because you're really going to see that these beers, as they change temperature, will start to change flavor. Sometimes dramatically, sometimes not at all. So anyway, that's part of the experience. But let me go ahead and go back here for a minute and smell it. Definitely getting that Belgian smell. I think really this reminds me a lot of some of the Trappist beers You really get those prunes and raisins, maybe even some dates and figs. Mainly raisins, though. I get a lot of raisin in the nose. Really like the way this one smells. Maybe just a very, very faint smell of something that would remind you that this is maybe aged in wood, though I know it's absolutely not. But the nose just kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But very Belgian on the nose. Very, very Belgian. Taste-wise, it's about the same. You know, the one thing that I really, truly like about this brewery that I'm finding is that they don't brew beers to be unique or extreme. This is just like a black suit with a white shirt and a black bow tie. I mean, it's just classic. It will always be good. I imagine that when I turn 60, 70, if I'm still able to drink this beer, hopefully I'm still able to drink beer, or hopefully I'm still alive. But, I just think this is a very classic beer. You talk about your Orvals and your Rocheforts and Westmalas and everything that comes from Belgium. Even stuff by this brewery right here, Destroys. It seems like what they're really trying to do with these beers is just make beers that are, really classic, will really stand the test of time, subtle, but very, very good. So yeah, I'm really digging it. I think the Dolle Tev that we had the other night as well, same thing. Just a classic, golden triple. Very, very good. And I would say the same thing about this. So I'm really looking forward to trying their stout, which I will get that one on the show on Friday. So, hope you're really liking these breweries. I do have some coming up soon. Like I think I just posted, I'll be doing a McKellar focus in a couple of weeks. I'll also be doing a Saison week. I've got some really good Saisons lined up for that as well. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the focused weeks on here. And I know a couple of you have said, I like random reviews, and I'll get there. I'll get back to that. But it really kind of helps me focus on a style, focus on a brewery. I think it's fun. Anyway, it kind of makes me think creatively when I go to the liquor store and I think about beers to buy for the show. But anyway, I'm telling you, this is a brewery you should absolutely try to find. The good thing about these, and I'll only take one more second, but the good thing about these Belgian beers is that they're pretty much available in a lot of the states here in America. And that's nice. I think we spend so much time as American beer geeks really focusing on, I want to get Three Floyds because I can't get it, or I want to get Russian River because I can't get it. But really, I think a lot of us are passing up some very, very, very good beers by really focusing on things that we can't get. And not too long ago, I kind of had an epiphany, and basically that epiphany was, man, a lot of the best beers I've ever had are the beers that I can actually get here. So, but anyway, yeah, so really go out and see if you can find this brewery. I think they're doing amazing beer. They're from Belgium. I mean, hell, it's hard to mess up a beer when you're from Belgium. But, well, anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off for now. Thanks a lot for coming back. My name is Mark Starr. Cheers. I mean, this thing is like a white polo shirt. Pop the collar on it too. You get your white polo, he's got the little blue guy on it, 1984, just classic. 1984 polo classic right here.